Hello, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. I think the morning can be much better. Good morning. Thank you very much for that lovely energy. How are you all doing today? Are you all doing fine? Yes, I heard only one year. Are we all doing fine? Lovely to see you all turning here with happy faces. A good morning once again, ladies and gentlemen, and a warm welcome to each and every one of you to the 20th edition of the India Digital Summit 2026, proudly organized by the Internet and Mobile Association of India. Can I have a clap in the house, please? Yes? Round of applause for all of you for turning in here and making this event successful already with your presence. My name is Hiba, and I'm honored to be your host for this wonderful session. And thank you very much to you all once again for turning up. As you all know, this year marks a very special milestone. 2 decades, yes, 20 years of IDS, a platform that has consistently brought together policy leaders, industry pioneers, entrepreneurs, and innovators to shape the conversation around India's digital future. IDS 2026 is also the official pre summit event of the India AI Impact Summit, just to let you all know. As well, the conference is supported by the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, the Ministry of Tourism, Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, as well as Startup Karnataka by the government of Karnataka as well. And we are super delighted to have you all here with us for this landmark edition themed India's AI Moment, Leveraging the Intelligent Economy. Before we begin, let's take a moment to introduce the IAMAI because I'm sure most of you know, but for those who do not know, here's a short introduction for all of you. The Internet and Mobile Association of India is a not for profit industry body with over 700 members comprising Indian and multinational corporations as well as startups. Over the years, the IAMAI has played a pivotal role in shaping India's digital ecosystem, advocating progressive policy frameworks and enabling free and fair competition, while also promoting responsible innovation. Through this policy advocacy, research, industry forum, startup promotion, and consumer safety initiatives, the IAMAI remains committed to ensuring that the sustained growth of India's internet and digital economy stays intact all throughout. Before we commence for our sessions, we would like to acknowledge our partners for the IDS 2026. So we have our presenting partner, Geo Hotstar, co-powered by National Payments Corporation of India and GetEPay, and in association with Meta. Can we have a clap for our partners, please? Yes? Thank you very much. With that being said, the wait has now come to an end. Let's have our first session started. A super interesting topic coming in for you because, as you all know very well, AI has etched into our daily being just like that. So, our topic being very vast and knowledgeable, we have our topic AI driven threat detection and automated incident response, understanding maturity, opportunities, and practical impact. And to talk to us on this topic, we have three wonderful speakers here with us. So, please put your hands together and welcome our first speaker, Mr. Vivek Goyal, the CEO and co-founder LdotR. A warm welcome to you, sir. We also have Dr. Ram Kumar G, cybersecurity and risk leader, global automotive company. A warm welcome to you, sir, as well. Can we have some claps, everybody? Yes. We also have Mr. Paritosh Tripathi, the founding member and entrepreneur in residence, Signzy. A big clap for sir as well. Yes. And taking this conversation forward, we have our moderator who is a partner at Ernst and Young, Mr. Aniket Bhosle. Can we have a big applause for our four gentlemen on the stage? So over to you, Aniket. Please take the conversation forward and let's get this session started. Thank you very much.
Very varied panel. If you've heard the introductions, we have Dr. Ram, who brings in the perspective from the automotive sector. And, if you've realized with so many EV cars coming out on the Indian roads now, automobile security is of utmost importance, right? There's human life at stake. And then we have Vivek uh, looking at brand protection, which is an important topic for many known brands in the country, right? And we were just discussing before the session started in terms of, are there any specific sectors who are looking at brand protection? And, much to my surprise, it's almost all sectors who have known brands now. So thank you for doing that. And lastly, we have Paritosh, co-founder at Signzy, an important player when it comes to identity management, KYC, especially powering some of the financial services in the country. I'm sure many of us would have used our banking applications, or whether it's a fintech, there is some leg of the journey that's powered by Signzy. So I'm sure many of us would have used the APIs which Signzy brings in. So amazing. And I'm a partner with EY, part of the cybersecurity practice. I focus on the financial services. With that background, let me, talk about this session today, right? We're talking about AI and the automated detection response. Well, automation in detection and response is not new, right? We've all seen that flavor for many years now. But with AI coming in, what is it that is really changing, right? What is the difference between the automation side of things and what is really AI in that? Let's try and demystify that. Let's try and understand what are the nuances, and what we'll also try and do is share some practical tips, insights, which all of you can take away with that, right? So I've got a bunch of questions for you. And this is also internet powered, so I can Google more questions in case we run out of them. So, Vivek, we'll start with you. Right? We talk about AI detection, using AI in detection, using AI in response. But how much of that you think is actually AI driven, right? Is it simply a pattern matching? Is it, just sheer bit of automation? Where do you see AI being actually used in that part?
Yeah, Aniket, thank you. And before I started and implementing AI-based detection in my company, that's what I thought, that it's nothing but glorified pattern matching, right? But if you look at what AI brings in, the first thing it does, it brings in context. So think of two brands. I'll take Amul for an example. If you come across a website that is using Amul, is it is it right? Is it wrong? You don't know, right? But AI can bring in the context to understand whether it's talking about Amul, the milk company, or Amul, the undergarments company, and whether it is talking about using one of them to pretend to be that company, right? So bringing in the context helps, because without context, again, it's just pattern matching. So AI can bring in this context. The second thing is correlation. So see, gone are the days when threat used to happen only on one platform, that somebody would just create one phishing website and be done with it, right? Now they would have a whole ecosystem of threats. So they would create a fake website, have a social media page, have something on the app store, have content on multiple websites so that it appears genuine to a consumer, right? So AI should be able to, and it does today, it correlates data from multiple sources and brings it together. Now, if it only did that, it's like going to a doctor and they say you have this problem but not giving you the medicine. So the third aspect of AI is it can categorize information and these risks in a manner and decide what action to be taken, and in many cases take that action. So it is not just collating all the information and throwing it to a human to say now you decide what needs to be done. It actually categorizes the risks and based on parameters takes that action. So the whole timeline between a threat being active to a threat having taken down is reduced drastically. And that's what we are all hoping to do. So move at the same speed at which a threat actor is moving.
I think what I take away is the context and correlation part. That's what AI is going to bring in, right?
Absolutely.
And that's what needs to leverage. Okay, Paritosh, I'll come to you. You're part of Signzy, and Signzy has this identity solutions, which are essentially looking at people doing KYC, for example, right? And with things like the liveliness check, for example, you have a lot of this risk signals coming out, right? How much of AI is relevant when it comes to just identifying the risk, flagging something as indeed being out of context or out of place? How much of that is actually going to go and be on the response side of things, right? Or, where do you actually go on to leverage AI? Is it on the analyst productivity? Is it on responding to something that has been flagged?
Uh, Thanks a lot, Aniket. And that's a great question. And I think you're absolutely right. I'll start with a very basic point, which you've mentioned that while a player like us sort of owns a lot of journeys for a lot of financial institutions, wherein we've been using AI prior to the whole AI jargons that has come around. And not just us, all the relevant players in the market using a lot of AI solutions like liveness, face match, deepfake detection, synthetic ID detection, correct? But yes, world has changed a lot. Earlier, everyone was doing things on machine learning. So a lot of annotations were there, a lot of hard work was there, and I'll say a lot of research and investment was put in. Um, During the course now, whenever we see any journey, if you take lending, banking, investment, payments, based upon the use cases, we are leveraging AI to not, so in any identity workflow, correct? We are also responsible to ensure outcomes. So we are very, very cognizant of the outcome, saying that I need to onboard the customer in this funnel in most optimized way, while ensuring that I have not gone too much conventional. So I'll just give a very quick example. So, for example, whenever you open a, let's suppose, a current account, why I'm using a current account as a use case, because a mule account has been one of the recent talk of the town, wherein nobody is able to come up with a very clean thought process. So whenever you do a onboarding across any use case, you take away a lot of attributes and data. So what AI is doing right now is, earlier obviously we are doing dedupe using face match one to n. With your historical fraud based data, I'm trying to match the data. I'm already using face match and liveliness, a lot of metadata for the company, directors, UPOs and whatnot. But now what AI is doing it in that journey itself, it is figuring out all the anomalies, and it is not sending to a SOC. It is sending to the real-time RM agent or the person who is doing the journey, saying that, hey, you are impersonating something, you are trying to do identity fraud, or you are not producing the right result, which we figure it out from the multiple sources. So AI is not a workflow is not a passive system now. It has a become active system. So first thing is putting a category to it, that it is a high, medium, low, and based upon that you figure it out that what policy you want to execute. So earlier it used to take, I think, decent amount of time to enforce these things. Now it happens in real time. Across all three bundles, you take a call. For hi, I'll block the customer. I'll initiate for a video KYC in person, either a digital or in-person checks, or I'll go for a enhanced due diligence. I'll ask for OTP. I'll ask for more documents, or in case something like a UB or something is a, let's suppose, a more risky use case, I'll block the user. Similarly, for Mule account, I'll have a lot of transaction monitoring workflows wherein I'll freeze the amount, I'll initiate an investigation using AI as a first channel. So this is what AI has done, wherein we are not just deciding, we are also acting upon it. Thanks to the whole AI capabilities, we are also learning out of it. So our learning historically is improving, because the amount of data that you're collecting day by day is making you more smarter in times to come. So this is what AI has done, that now whenever you do a journey, you are able to deliver financial product at scale without losing sight for the risk at any given point.
Yeah, and I think one very important aspect you mentioned was actually getting it out to the RMs. Wherein as a end customer, I can actually understand what's going wrong, right? Because that many times I might not be aware of why my KYC is getting rejected. So I think that's an interesting use case beyond the usage of AI, right? So that's important. Dr. Ram, I'll come to you next. We spoke about automobile sector being the critical one. While our friend Paritosh is making sure the financial services ecosystem remains secure. But when it comes to automobile and mobility in general, that's life which is at stake, right? So the question that I have is, when it comes to automotive sector, uh, automation has to respect the safety. Yes, but more important than that is also the time in which you are responding or you are you know, averting a disaster, right? So in that sense, how do you think, an IR system, an incident response system needs to be designed, keeping AI in the picture, but at the same time having containment, making sure it is fast and it doesn't trigger any adverse effect, right? Because the responsiveness of the response, the timeliness of the response is going to be quite critical.
Thanks, Niket, for that wonderful question. I work for Volvo Group, though I have restrictions in using the company name, so I come in my personal capacity. Quick disclaimer, what I'm saying here is purely my personal views and not that of my employer. Coming back to this question, you know pretty well that automotive sector in the last 15 years has undergone a sea change. We are in the era of connected cars, autonomous cars, and AI. We are using extensively from everywhere, from R&D to even in cybersecurity, the domain that I specialize in. So when it comes to incident response, we are already using agentic AI systems to enhance our capabilities across industry, not just specific to my company. The key point is any kind of false positive can actually have a catastrophic effect on production downtime to physical safety. Automotive sector is one of the very few sectors, along with healthcare, where any kind of cyber attack can impact life safety, unlike fintech or BFSI industry, where identity theft and, of course, financial loss is big. But here, life safety is at stake of not just the vehicle users, including the driver and passengers, but also the road users. Now, in this kind of scenario, we go for a multi-pronged approach. Of course, safety first tiering model we use, where we look at the operational impact whenever there is an incident. So, if it is a lower operational impact, just like you want to isolate a particular network, right? And that is not having huge operational impact, you can automate it easily. But if it is a high operational impact, we cannot just like that automate it because it will have serious consequences. So we'll always have a human in the loop where our agents or key folks actually review that and then decide. Beyond this, we also use digital twin. When you want to deploy any containment script, just like that, we do not deploy in the live production systems. We use it against a digital twin, and then we simulate there. It is just like the healthcare industry. They use virtual patients to check on before they carry out the surgery on a live patient. Same thing we do here. And the other thing I wanted to emphasize was kind of gradual degradation versus hard shutdown. So imagine you are driving your car, and then there is some issue with your engine control unit. It just like that shuts down. As passengers, it puts you at risk. You will be stranded, or you will not be able to get out of the car. Anything it could be. So instead of putting people at risk, the ECU, if it faces issues, it can be configured in such a way the core functionality is not compromised or impacted, whereas other unnecessary things can be shut down, right? So that way it is not passenger safety is not compromised in any way. And of course, we also work on the semantic playbook where real-time telemetry is ingested and natural language understanding is used to learn more about the issues, and that could be leveraged for better automation during incident response. So that's my 2 cents on this.
I have a follow up on that, right? If we slightly zoom out, as an automobile company, typically one serves various geographies, right? Whether it is the EU, whether it is, Americas or the ASEAN market and India itself. Are there any nuances that one needs to look at when it comes to automation? right? And if so, how do you handle those when it comes to automation in security?
Yeah, so for a global strategy, you should always use, global regulations as a guide. When we serve multiple geographies across the world, we'll have to take into account the regulatory landscape as well in which we operate. For instance, it is very important we take into account the EU AI Act when we operate in the European Union. It's very stringent. In fact, the Act also classifies certain AI-driven actions as high risk, right? So those things you definitely cannot automate. Now, coming specifically to this question, the appetite for automation is not just a technical issue. It is a byproduct of various factors like your regulatory environment, your labor economics, and of course, it also depends on how well and how cost effective it is. So, if you go to the US, the focus is more on automation, driven by the challenges in terms of the labor cost. So they try to automate everything to keep the total cost of ownership to the bare minimum. And the focus is more on liability. And of course, they map the security controls to NIST frameworks and stuff like that. Whereas in a market like India, though we do have a huge talented pool of professionals, the kind of scale at which we operate, globally, sitting in India, we support various countries. It's not feasible to, have human agents look into everything. So you need to automate to measure up to the speed and the scale. ASEAN is more of, ASEAN countries more of they are driven by digital transformation, and they also have stringent data localization requirements. So you can't have a central cloud-based system for monitoring everything because the data localization laws are very critical to fulfill. So that is another aspect. And more importantly, whether these you can't have a one size fits all approach for entire geographies across the world. So it has to be customized as per the regulations you are in, the labor market you are in, and of course the technology capabilities. So that's my take on this.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Vivek, I'll come to you next, right? And we'll slightly change the gears from automotive to brand protection now. Uh, what does automation look like in, brand protection, right? Of the various stages that you have in brand protection, right? The detection, the takedown, the response, so on and so forth. What does automation look like? And if you could share some practical examples with us.
No, of course, Aniket. And um, we were discussing the aim of the AI is so that it can take over the repetitive tasks and the mundane tasks and spare some time for humans to do the creative work, right? And so the aim of automation in brand protection is the same, right? The brand protection journey is very simple. It's identify, assess, enforce, and then monitor, right? So the automation process does the same thing, but here's the glitch. You can only automate things where the decision is reversible. You cannot automate something which, if an action is taken by the machine and the outcome is not reversible. For example, if we enable an AI system to detect a phishing domain, assess it, report it, and get it taken down, that's okay to do because if it makes a mistake, that decision is reversible. The domain can be unsuspended, right? But in case of there are some platforms where that is not possible. Secondly, you can automate tasks where the probability of actually assessing it accurately is high based on set parameters. So if you know that on these 6 parameters, if this is the score, then the probability of this being successful is high, right? The, the cases where when you enforce something, the company is not in a set up so that they can accept the response in an automated fashion is there where automation fails. So in the whole journey, automation can work in a sense. You can, take the horse to the water, but if the horse is not ready to drink, you cannot use automation to get the horse to drink the water, right? So automation can give you excellent results when the whole value chain or the kill chain is automated. But when it is not, or when you need to have a human taking ownership of the decision, that's where automation requires a human touch to do. But as we are seeing this across industry, see, this is a cost. When you report to a social media company or you report to, say, an Amazon or a Flipkart or a Snapdeal, it's a cost for them because they have to look at those responses, assess it, and take action. So even they are motivated to reduce this cost and automate as much as possible. So automation works wonderful there, but whenever there is something which involves legal nuance or say the changing landscape of trademarks and all, that's where human intelligence is definitely required.
And we keep talking about AI for security, right? Of course, the general principle is you need to have the human in the loop. But if you look at the kind of incidents that keep happening, phishing, while we thought with AI the detection rates would be higher, but phishing emails are still around, right? Where do you think AI can actually begin to make a difference in the various attacks that we see, right? The phishing emails, whether it is a malware outbreak, trying to contain it, so on and so forth. Where do you think AI can really bring in that value?
No, absolutely. See, earlier what used to happen is you used to identify that a scam has happened or you are under a phishing attack when somebody got scammed. They lost money, then they would go to the company and cry that, oh, I thought that will investment from your company name would 10x my money overnight. I believed it, but now it's your responsibility to fix it, right? So instead of waiting after the horse has bolted, I don't know why I'm stuck on horses today, but what AI helps you do is it can help you detect the threat before the damage has been done, right? Because it can do it at scale, right? So if the AI agents you have enabled, they are continuously scanning the web, and that's what we do for our clients. We can detect the threat, assess it, and take it down before even a single customer has been scammed, right? And then that is the true power, because the threat actors are definitely using AI to conduct these scams. If you go online, there are services which says phishing as a service, right? We have seen infrastructure as a service, SaaS, we all know about. Now you have phishing as a service, wherein you buy the package, put in a brand name, and it will create a website. It will tell you what to put on social media, which websites to go and put the content ready-made, right? So the only way to counter that is by using AI to continuously scan and make sure that you identify and take them down before a customer is harmed. And it's the law of traffic. You cannot disappear jams. You can only move them from one place to another, right? Same thing is with these threat actors. For a lot of them, this is their family business. And in anti-counterfeiting, where people are creating these fake products, we know that those guys clearly say that this is my family business. So today you might stop me from doing for this brand, tomorrow I'll start for that brand. So if your aim should be, how do I very quickly identify and put so many hurdles for somebody to abuse my brand that they will just leave my brand alone, because the ROI for them to attack my brand is almost nil.
Dr. Ram, I'll come to you. While Vivek touched upon it, but when it comes to adversaries using AI, right, as compared to our organizations where, usage of AI will require the risk assessments, the approvals from a committee, so on and so forth, right, all the regulations that you spoke about. But hey, adversaries don't need any of that, right? They can start downloading something and just implementing it. So how do you deal with adversaries who are on, AI steroids, using AI for phishing, identity fraud, so on and so forth? How do you deal with an adversary using AI to attack your organization?
So, a very pertinent question. You have to fight AI with AI because of the speed and the scale. Our manual traditional processes are not going to work. So, Just like the bad guys, the threat actors are leveraging AI for targeting and as a tool and a medium. AI is a double-edged sword. Both the good guys and the bad guys use. So in that context, it's important we ramp up our defense capabilities and you leverage on the AI powered today every solution product in the market. They say we are AI powered, AI enabled, but of course due diligence needs to be done. Now specific to this question, today we are in the era of very sophisticated social engineering campaigns are going on using AI, deepfakes. It mimics real life. It's hyper realistic phishing campaigns. Earlier, we used to say, as part of security awareness, what are all the red flags that you can spot in a email, in a phishing email. Today, all of that is gone because it's near hyper realistic, right? So, in this kind of scenario, what is very important is fight AI with AI, right? So there are tools, lot more tools available. You can evaluate and you can deploy. As far as verification of such content or mailer is concerned, today these AI attacks actually bypass almost all controls. When you are having very traditional, security defenses, so you have to upgrade them urgently because the danger is clear and present now. Now, verification you can do it through hardware-backed cryptographic controls, right? Instead of passwords, you can use passkeys and upgrade your certificates and so on and so forth. Then your culture is more important. So one aspect I just spoke about was the technology. Then your culture will involve the human element. So we always suggest cyber mindfulness. People should have that situational awareness. So that means your staff should be provided with context-aware inputs whenever there is a major campaign is going on in cyberspace, so that they are aware and they know what to do. This is in addition to the technology controls I'm talking about. And any kind of urgent requests, you can always train your staff to spot and anything on video or audio requesting for fund transfer, especially the BEC scams, right? Business email compromise. It comes in different variants. So there should be a out of band channel where it's a protocol to check whether this is kind of request is genuine and valid. So that should be implemented, not just go by the video and the urgency and the authority. So again, when it comes from very senior folks, people should not be scared of the authority. Rather, they should have alternate channels to go and verify and check whether this is a genuine request. So these kind of protocols, if they implement as part of their process, it will add much more value, and the human element can act as a firewall against these kind of threats. So the blend of AI, utilizing, leveraging AI technology as well as the human capability, that can actually help in achieving our goals.
Okay, thanks. Thanks for that. Paritosh, I'll come to you next. As a country, we have the DPDP rules already formalized, right? The Digital Personal Data Protection rules. The act was there for some time. With now AI increasingly getting used by organizations, right? And not just from a security standpoint, there are LLMs that are being used in SOC, but also organizations have started using AI and LLMs in a lot of customer-facing, use cases. How do you manage exposure of sensitive data or personal data, digital personal data for that matter, that some of these models use? And let's say they consume it, and the output is, let's say, a incident response report, right? How do you manage exposure or accidental exposure of sensitive data, via such AI use cases?
No, that's one of the most interesting questions. So, yeah, so usage of LLMs and these models are inevitable now. And I think every one of us in this room is I'm pretty sure is now replacing Google Chrome with a lot of AI agents. So the way we have seen it, since we work closely, as I mentioned, with a lot of financial institutions, and since while we are not directly regulated, but you need to behave in a very regulated manner while working with these critical FIs. So the first thing and foremost thing that we've done is we try to normalize and we try to minimize the data exposure towards LLM. So how does it work? So as you mentioned rightly so, you need to be very sincere that you're not exposing any PII data, access tokens, credentials, IP details, or anything which is critical of nature towards directly on these LLMs across functions. And it's very important sometimes as a security posture, you try to have a very high posture for certain critical folks in the team or certain department, but you lose out on some departments which, for example, for a matter of fact, support, correct? But they are the most exposed to these credentials because client might be sharing things over in emails and they might just go on an LLM tool and start doing things. So I'll say sanitization and training for the same. Second, ensuring that you can redact, minimize any exposure at any point of time. Second part to it is for implementation of LLM for any institutions for doing anything, you should be moved from public cloud to private cloud or on-prem, wherein you won't be training the data on customer data. While it might sound a little bit obvious that why we are not leveraging what is already there, but I think sometimes you need to have a balance of both. So yes, the institution with whom we are working with, we have taken a very conservative approach, which is aligned as per the regulatory norms in India. Go for an on-premise or private cloud, deploy the LLMs as per the use case, minimize the data footprint because let's understand the criticality of these problem statements. You don't want to create your surface of attack by using LLMs because it could be a dual-edged sword, as mentioned by the esteemed panelist. AI is being used on the both the sides, and you need to be ethically more clear, and you need to have a better clarity of thought that in which guardrail you are using it. So you need to be very clear that these are the important part. And third is obviously RAG practices, correct? There has to be a least privilege accesses wherein let's suppose a junior analyst will just get a summarized report. His senior superior gonna get or more detailed log data. So there has to be access, privilege accesses, wherein you are not exposing all the stakeholder with the same amount of info. And you're using LLM for not recording the data, just get the context out of it. So these three things are majorly important. And fourth and foremost thing is adoption of AI has to be done in a way wherein the business and risk guardrails are being enforced. And let me be honest, very precise and candid about it. I think that can only happen with a balanced training and approach. Because a first thought, I think whenever we are using devices, for example, on tablet phone or our laptops, we might have a multiple logins, correct? So we need to sanitize our posturing across departments, across instrument, wherein whatever we are using, we are not exposing any critical data on these platforms. So yeah, these are the major steps that we are being following. By doing these steps, at least we are able to reduce the surface.
Got it. Okay, thank you. Vivek, I'll come to you next. We've talked about detection, response, and fighting AI with AI. Let's bring your organization, right, and its product dot brand into the picture. From an AI and automation perspective, what role does dot brand actually play? Does it meaningfully change how AI is, used to detect threats, make decisions, whether it's response or otherwise, or is it more of a branding, tool and a trust signal?
Thank you, Aniket, and kudos to you for knowing about this because this dot brand thing is so niche and such short lived that it bypasses many practitioners in the industry who should be knowing about it. So, in very short, I'll give you an example. My company's website is www.l.r.red, right? Geo sits on geo.com, correct? So, the anything which comes after the dot is called a top level domain. So there is a unique opportunity where today a business can acquire a dot brand name. So Geo actually owns .geo. They don't use it, but they own it, right? Similarly, SBI used to own .sbi, right? Now, based on conservative estimates, within the next 5 years, there'll be close to 300 billion AI agents running in the world today, right? Everybody will be a manager of few humans and a lot of AI agents, right? That's how the organization in the future will be. Now, how does an AI agent recognize another AI agent and decide whether it's honest and it's the right one or not? For example, you ask your agent to book a ticket for you. Now it wants to use either Clear Trip or Make My Trip or Ease My Trip or the others, and it wants to connect to their AI agents to book the ticket, right? It's very easy to spoof that. You can create Make My Trip AI, I am the real agent, and then all the data goes to that agent, and there's no human in the middle, right? The AI agents are empowered to give your money and make the transaction. So a dot brand is unspoofable. Once a company acquires a dot brand, they and only they can create domains underneath. So example, for .geo, only geo company can create domains under .geo, nobody else. So if you tell AI agents that only talk to companies where anything after the dot is the brand name, that is 100% security. The signal of trust is 100%. There is no way it can be spoofed or replicated or duplicated. So for large businesses and brands that are looking at connecting with other AI agents or ensuring that their brand is not replicated, this is the most foolproof method that is available. And the challenge is it's such short-lived. This opportunity to acquire one, for example, it's only going to open in May and run till August of this year. If you don't acquire it then you will not have any chance to acquire it again for a long period of time. So from security perspective, from AI hygiene perspective, acquiring a dot brand is the best solution you can have to strengthen your AI strategy, not only for internal consumption, but for consumers and outside consumption as well. Yeah. Thank you, Aniket.
Okay, perfect. Thanks for that. And we are almost on time. But one last question and common question for all of you, right? For the audience here, any practical tips, insights that you would want to share to increase the maturity when it comes to usage of AI in threat detection response? A quick summary of what you feel. Paritosh, maybe we begin with you.
Yeah, I think I started seeing that a lot of folks have started using AI as a sometime as a psychologist and as a therapist nowadays, and I really believe that as a culture, I think Ram has spoken about it. As an Indian, we don't respect our data and privacy both. So whenever we checked into any hotels, we always try to give Aadhaar without redirecting it to. I'm not saying because I come from identity space, but I think we should. And while DPD and all these norms gonna be there from the regulator side, but enforcement of these things always gonna happen by the right education and right amount of, I'll say, training. So I firmly believe while using any LLM platform, just be cognizant of the fact that for what purpose are you using, and don't try to get too much intimate with it in terms of sharing personal data, PII data. I happen to know some of, I was talking to a lot of the recently Signzy's. One of the folks recently mentioned, and it is a little bit also a challenge for a company like us, that a person at the age of 18, 19 wanted to, let's suppose, go to a bar or wanted to have a driving license. They are creating it. Earlier, they used to go to Adobe and they used to do a little bit hard work. So there has to be some threshold to do it. Now, using AI, they are writing a prompt. They are getting the AI enabled, great generative AI driving licenses, irrespective of which state you want to have, which country you want to have, which is really scary, correct? And nobody can. I'm pretty sure you cannot link it to DigiLocker, but at least in your mind, you know that you can evade a lot of regulation nearby. So I firmly believe, I think usage of AI has to be done in a very cognizant way, and we should not try to overexpose ourselves because it really tells you everything in a more smarter way. So that's my 2 cents.
Vivek?
Yeah, I'm going to build on what you said because what you said is right. It's be very careful on what you tell in AI because you don't know in what manner that data is going to be used. Right. Another challenge that you will see is there are a lot of now AI agents which you can install on your own laptop, and you think it's on my laptop. I have no problem. My data is not going anywhere. And then you enable those systems to take action on your behalf. I mean, I always ask myself, if I have a problem, for example, my camera is not working, I ask the chat GPT why my camera is not working. Why does it have to tell me what to do? Why can't it just do it? Right? So there are AI agents today available which you can install, agentic AIs, which will actually do it for you. The challenge is they enable so much access to your system that you won't even know if somebody hijacks your system using that AI agents and does things on your system. So please be very wary of using these AI agents, sharing your data, uploading Excels onto it, saying, analyze this for me. Please read the fine print or ask the AI agent to read the fine print for you and tell you whether how your data will be used and how secure it is. Thanks.
And Dr. Ram.
Very pertinent point what Vivek made. As far as my industry sector is concerned, since the life safety is paramount, I would always go with having a human in the loop setup where the actual human agents look at the AI decisions, automated AI decisions or whatsoever. At least 5% sampling they'll have to review and approve. So that is very critical. You can't leave everything to AI and then be done with that. So human oversight is paramount. AI automation is not going to replace human judgment. Rather, it is going to be assistant to human in decision making. Ultimate decision making power should remain with human agents. That's my take on this.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. And that's a wrap for our panel. It was my pleasure hosting all of you. And thank you so much for sharing all the insights with all of us today. Thank you and have a good rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Let's take a group picture to capture this moment of your outstanding conversation. So please do come forward and let's have the photograph clicked. Yes, audience, we can clap it up once again for this lovely conversation, our first session. A big applause for four of our lovely gentlemen on the stage. Thank you very much.
All you.